I was harassed sexually both physically and verbally for like 3 years every day in school, and no one couldn't help me. School eventually told me that just don't come to school.
And I see this guy, in the application, and it says no foreigners.
It was like hundreds of Christian people with their loudspeakers and like...
It was louder than the parade.
It was louder than our
And I was
music.
like,
We
what
just
the-
heard the Christians like...
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to our new segment called Korea Uncharted. This is a segment where we bring in people from various cultural backgrounds and share stories about their experience in Korea. So today we have invited people from the LGBT community, and I have no knowledge about the LGBT community. So you guys are here to educate me about this topic, okay? So from you, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Nicolas. I'm 33 years old. I'm from Argentina. I work in Korea in entertainment. I'm a dancer and performer. And I've been living here for 4 years.
Oh, that's a long time. How about you?
I'm Tang. I would say my pronoun is he, they, but since human gender and sexuality is entangled and too complicated to label it, so I never feel like comfortable saying that I'm this and that. So I guess I'm just Tang. You guys call me Tang, and I'm Korean. I've been living here for 30 years now because I'm 30.
You look so much younger. Oh my God.
Okay. How about you?
I'm Ivana. I'm from the Czech Republic, but I've been here for also about 4 years. I'm 28 and I'm a lesbian.
Okay, great. So you guys have been living here in Korea for a very long time.
Yes.
And I think you guys have also witnessed the change, the transformation of how
Right.
these people from the LGBT community is being seen, right? So from you, like, how do you think living in Korea as an LGBTQ member changed over the past 4 or 5 years?
Not enough, to be fair. I feel like the change in Korea is very slow, which is understandable, but also could be better. I know that the change takes time because Korea is very conservative and very closed off to other cultures. So it makes sense that it's slower than I would like it to be. But I think queer people in Korea are doing all they can, really, to make it better for themselves.
When do you feel that Korea is very conservative?
I live kind of like edgy at the end of Seoul area, so there's like lots of elderly people, and they just can't stop looking at me.
Elderly people, yeah.
Yeah, because they're like trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like bleached long hair, and like it's like I wear crop top sometimes too, so they're like trying to figure out what it is, but they also don't know that we are existing. Like they don't know like we are here.
A lot of the older Korean people, I feel they think all the queer people in Seoul or in Korea are foreigners, and like no Korean people are actually like gay. It's the foreigners. We are not queer.
You know, they still think that it's an invasion of Western culture.
Invasion of Western culture.
For me also, it's the same. It's like I cannot notice like a change. Even I've been here 4 years in Korean society about gay rights or like visibility. So actually coming from my country, I had to re-educate myself on how to behave like in the same LGBTQ community. In my country, I can be very free, I can be myself. And here I feel like oppressed a lot, many times. Even having a relationship with a Korean guy, I feel like I cannot do something that I could do in my country, for example. Like just holding my partner's hand. Just little details, and that makes me like stress a lot because I don't know, I want to be myself, I want to be free, so I'm here, it's like I cannot show because my partner maybe is gonna feel uncomfortable.
Do you feel that kind of difference affected your personality?
Yeah. I think I've changed a lot, and even if I go to another, I feel like because now I've been living here for a long time. Right now, the way I behave is more like the Korean way of the LGBTQ in Korea. society. Like I became like that, and I don't behave like I used to behave before. Yeah, so I think it has a lot to do with my personality, and I struggle a lot. Not only just the behavior, it's also how are you perceived by others? That you are more in my country. I don't care, like, and here it's like I care way more.
Yeah, Koreans are always conscious about like how other people think about us.
I think foreigners also struggle with like wanting to respect the culture because we are a guest in your country, but also not wanting to hide who we are. Because also in my country, I'm like it's very much more accepting. So I never would have to think twice if somebody like finds out that I'm gay, then whatever. But here it's very like, if I'm too open, well, they think, oh, that's the foreigner that came here to influence our culture and make it all bad. And I don't want to make like the community look bad, like the queer community in Korea.
Is this thing with the older generation or with the younger generation as well?
Both.
I think it's both. Yeah, I think it's both. Like younger people still care about other people. They still learn how to be themselves in a school, in like brainwash it, and they like learn how to fit in this society rather than like finding through themselves. And once they graduate, they just like throw in the like this big lake, and everyone's still acting the same the way they learn in the school.
So since you lived in Korea for a very long time, have you ever felt that you were a misfit in school or?
Oh yeah, like I bullied so much when I was in school.
You were bullied?
High school, like I was harassed sexually, both physically and verbally, for like 3 years every day in school.
Every day in school,
Yeah.
Wow.
And I actually screamed for help. Like I needed help. Like these people are trying to kill me or something. And then I told my parents and teachers, and I also called Korean Youth Counseling Center, and no one couldn't help me because I don't blame them because I think that they didn't know that gays exist. So the school eventually told me that just don't come to school. That's how
crazy.
Korean problem solving. Like if something happens in Korea, they just like erase it. They're not trying to figure out
Remove the problem.
figure out the problem. They're just like And also similar thing happened a few years ago. Like there is some violence happened in school, so this girl is like trying to make other students buy something for them, give less money than the product. And in school we used to have this little like convenience store-ish, so we can buy some snacks.
Right.
After that happened, what Korean did was they just get rid of the convenience store at the school. That's
Easy
literally,
and simple.
that's literally what they did to me. They just get rid of it. I was like, oh my god! Like,
So
come
did you drop
on.
out of school?
No, in the document I still graduated.
You still graduated.
But like that was 15 years ago. This world changed a lot since then. I think we or these teenagers out there, you guys can access everything through mobile device these days. And if you need help, go ask help. There will be people be there for you. And also, it's okay that your parents cannot be there for you because they didn't grow up as queer individuals. Like if you guys need help, go ask help. Someone can help you now. 15 years ago, I don't know. I didn't get the help, but now like we have this designated center for queer youth that people can go freely. So that's a good change.
So let's talk about a little bit more personal stories. Like how did you come out? Like can you tell me that journey?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually by mistake. I didn't have a phone back then because somebody stole my phone in my country. And I was sending a message to my friend, one of my best friends, and I used my mother's phone to tell about some guy I was gonna meet that night.
So it was an accident, right?
Yeah. And then I went to shower and was getting ready to go out, and my mother come to me and say, "Nico, what is? Come here. We want to talk to you." And I, okay. And they told me, "Are you gay?" Yes.
Oh, did she ask you like,
Yeah.
are you gay?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, after that she asked me, "Oh, is your friend also gay?" And yeah, he is. So yeah, so they gave me money for the condoms.
Supported.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah, and yeah, they told me take care of, yeah. And it's just,
Wow.
that's it. It was not too much drama actually. Yeah.
It's a very different experience in Korea, right? Tell me about your coming out story.
Oh my God. I came out when I was 15, really young.
15. Wow.
I think I wrote letter or email to my cousin because my cousin lives in state where she still lives there. And then I wrote like long letter. I was like, da, 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 da. I think I'm gay, like blah, blah, blah. I'm having a hard time. And then she saw that and she, I think, immediately cried. And then her mom saw that. And then her mom told my mom, your son wrote letter for my daughter. And then she's like crying. And then after the next day, everyone knew. My whole family. Because my family really like to talk each other. But my mom thought that I will just grow out of it. You're just in the forays. But like that was 15 years ago. I'm getting gayer every year. So it's like, no mom, I'm sorry. Nothing has changed.
So I'm curious, like, how do you feel like you're different from other people? Like, when was that moment in your life that you felt something was different?
Really young. I would say like kindergarten. Like when boys are playing sports, I hated it. Like that's not for me, even when I was really young. Like no thank you. But then when I was playing with like Barbie dolls with female kids, they often just like disgust by it. You're a guy, why you're here playing with Barbie dolls with me? And then there was time, it was like probably 6 or something. I'm just like, oh my god, like nobody wants me. Like I'm really different from any other people. And then since it gets really worse, like people realizing they're talking about like girlfriend, boyfriend, and I'm just like, I never had a girlfriend. Like I never felt the same way about how you guys felt about other female kids. And I was like, no. But then I have like so many female friends when I was in school. And then after that, the bully started. I knew that was different, like really young age.
How about you? When was the first time?
Well, technically I didn't come out to my mom. My sister did it for me. I was like 14 and I had a girlfriend and I was like, we broke up. Oh, well, it wasn't a girlfriend, but let's say it was a girlfriend, like a type of relationship, and I broke up with her. So I was really sad. And we were sitting with my mom and watching TV, and my sister was like, Mom, do you want to know something? And so she just told her for me. But my mom is very like, she was like, oh, it's okay. Like, you can like whoever you want. I think for a while, my mom was still hoping that maybe I will grow out of it. And like, she would ask until like 15, 16, like, so, maybe you want to have a boyfriend or something, but no. So, and then my sister also turned out to be gay. So my mom is like, whatever. At this point, 2 out of her 3 children are gay. So it's like, my mom is my whole family, I think the country in general is very open. So it was never like an issue. Even when my sister told her, it was like, I wasn't scared that my mom would react badly because I knew that it wouldn't be a problem because my mom is very accepting. So
But why didn't you come out yourself?
I mean, I don't
and not let your sister do it.
I don't think I wanted to like technically come out. I feel like coming out is so unnecessary. Like I just want everyone to like who they like. So it just happened that I had a girlfriend and my sister mentioned that it was a girl that I was sad about. So yeah, but I don't like the term coming out. Not like, but I just wish it wouldn't have to happen. I wish everyone would just have to be who they are and like who they like.
It's a very different experience, right? Your mom cried and here she's like, oh, whatever.
When I talk with my Korean friends, it's always so hard to put myself in their shoes because my experience is so wildly different. Like I've never had like such a huge problem. And then I have my friends crying that like they don't feel like they could ever tell their families that they are queer. And it makes me so sad, but like, what can you do in their shoes? It's like, do you lose your whole family, or do you just go out on weekends and pretend to your family that everything is good?
So, what is the weirdest question that you have ever received from Koreans about your sexual orientation?
Why?
Why? Oh, why?
Like, what made you?
What made you? Okay. How did you respond to that question?
I was born that way. I think there's not like a better way to say. There's no reason. Like, why are you straight, right? You were just born straight, so you are straight. I was born gay, so I'm gay. There's like no reason behind it.
Some people think that it could be influenced by, the culture.
Cannot be.
It could be educated.
Cannot be.
Okay.
it's not.
What do you think about that?
No.
I mean, I feel like it's just so silly. Like, if you are straight, right? And I talk you into dating women, you will always be like, but I want a guy. Like, that's what I am attracted to. That's what my nature is. I want to be with a man. So why would you think that it works the other way? It's crazy. Just don't. It's not possible. We are the way we are because we were born this way. And we will continue to be that way forever.
Do you also feel that you are born this way? Agree with that?
Yeah, yes, but sometimes, like in my life before, I felt attraction by women, and by guys, and I used to date both.
Sexuality is fluid, so it can change also.
Yeah, so that's why, everybody has a different experience.
Yes.
You can be, you are the way you are, but maybe you are bisexual. Yeah, that's why. I think, you are born that way, yeah. You cannot impose that to other people, It's like when they tell us, oh, you should date a woman. And it's like, yeah, but I want to date a guy.
I feel like it's a lot of like the other way. A lot of the people that say we are making the people gay and like trans or whatever are the ones that are trying to make us fit in their mold. Like they want us to change. It's not like we are trying to make anyone change. We want people to be themselves.
And sometimes, especially in Korea, sometimes I met some people and they don't know about themselves that much, so sometimes when they meet you, they have a different experience or they like you. Yeah, I have many times when they are like, oh, but I don't know how to be with you.
It's really interesting how these people discover, like different parts of themselves.
Because maybe before they didn't have any. Some people, they didn't even think about it.
Yeah, some people
really?
In Korea, there's really no representation, like in media and stuff. So I think it's hard for young people to even imagine like that it's possible to be gay or queer.
So have you encountered any, like uncomfortable situation with these people who ask your sexual orientation in a very offensive way?
Like in a subway? Oh my god, in a subway. There is one time this guy just came up to me and asked me, first thing he was asking, are you Korean? It's like, yes, I'm speaking Korean right now. The second thing was, are you boy or girl? Like, I'm a girl today, but maybe boy tomorrow.
Okay, that's a great answer.
Yeah. And if they continue to ask me about those type of stuff, I will ask them back too. Like, are you talking about gender or sex right now? And in Korea, we don't educate that. We don't educate difference between gender and sex. Sex and gender is two different things, even though they're very related. So that's why we have this pronoun these days. Like I said, I'm like he, they. Like someone can be like she, he. Like just whoever you want to be. Gender is a social construction, I believe. And also, I just want to live in a world where there's no gender binary. Like, I want to live in a world where like there's no definition of being male, female, non-binary, trans.
I agree.
But like that's like too far ahead, I guess.
Also, like when you talk about K-pop, you know, there are a lot of gay people in K-pop, in the K-pop industry, right? But they have to pretend that they're straight.
I don't think they're pretending. It's like funny thing about Korea is that you can do gay thing whatever you want unless you don't say it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Don't say that you're gay, then you'll be fine. They also sexualize us, but they will never accept us.
Not
It's-
never. Don't say
Never.
never.
Okay, never. Oh my
Right
god.
now.
They will. They will.
They will soon.
They will.
Working on
Yeah,
it.
Yeah. Yeah. They will accept us eventually. But yeah, they're like often sexualizing. Like, you know, I saw some YouTube clip like 2 days ago. This idol was kissing each other, doing all the homoerotic stuff, and people giggling about it. And they probably don't even thinking about our existence. They just don't think that we're existing.
So your experience is very different from these two people. Like, do you think this sentiment within the Korean society is influenced by the Confucian culture?
Yeah, I get. Yeah. And then this like Christian. Like these hardcore Christians, their values and then that culture is combined, and it makes really worse, I think. I sometimes wonder, like, whenever I went in public, when I was at a restaurant, you know, you guys like overheard conversation really easily. And then I sometimes wonder if Koreans know how to have a conversation without labeling others by gender. Like gender labeling in Korea is quite extreme.
Gender labeling.
Yeah. So like they're just talking about this friend, and they need to know the person is girl or guy, so that they can talk about
Oh, he did this because he's
based
guy.
on these stereotypes. Oh, you did it because he's a guguy.
Yeah, of course he did. He's
Of course
just a
he's
guy.
Yeah.
Why do you think this is happening then?
Oh, what is happening?
Korean society is very binary.
Binary.
You have to be like that or this.
So I feel that a lot of Koreans, when they see women with short hair,
She's a feminist.
oh, feminist or a
A dyke,
lesbian.
yeah, a lesbian, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, so they like to label people
Yeah.
based on their genders.
Based on their look, based on their gender, they just really like to putting something in a box.
Like if you are this, then you are also that. Like you cannot be anything else. If I think women are this, then all women are this. And if you are not, then what are you?
So when you first came here to Korea, it might have shocked you because it's so different from your culture, right?
Well, I don't know, because I came here before I moved. I came on vacations a couple of times. So before I made the move, I made sure to educate myself about what I can expect a little bit, because I didn't want to be blindsided. I feel like even the Korean people I keep around me are very much like me, so I don't have to deal with people being offensive or anything like that too much.
But on subways.
Well, people
have to deal with
stare,
them.
but it's like people stare at me in my country as well, because I look different everywhere. So it's like I'm used to it. I don't care. If they want to look, they can look.
Yeah, that's kind of me these days.
Yeah.
On the bus, all right. I guess I'm the main character here.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do.
So look at me.
It's my stage.
Yeah, it's like everyone look at
I wish they tip me at least, but I mean.
Okay, how about you? How about your experience in Korea? Like, it's very different from your culture as well.
It's very different actually. Yeah, when I came here, actually, firstly, like I think Koreans take care a lot about their image, you know, a lot. And you know, I used to, for example, when I came to Korea, I was living in Denmark before, so I was like very chill about my image. And then I went to a club and they told me, hey, the first time I went actually, and it happened many times after, hey, this place is usually they say it's for gays only, or they tell you this is a membership club, so you cannot get in.
Membership club.
Yeah, they tell you like this is a membership club, and so they tell me like, oh, you cannot get in. Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's what
that's
they say these days.
yeah.
Membership. How do you get that membership?
I think that's the excuse.
That's excuse because
Yeah,
I'm a
I think so
foreigner.
too,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
They-
why you're saying okay.
They are not allowed to say no foreigners anymore, so they say, oh, membership. The membership is be Korean. That's your membership.
Yeah. Well, then I went to another places. And there was nobody there, and they told me, "Oh, this is for members only." You know, like okay. And then my friend, she speaks Korean. She said, we want to get in," you know. And they asked her, "Are you gay or lesbian?" And she said, "Yeah." So we could get in. But when I asked, they told me, "Oh no, you cannot get in." That's something that I didn't experience in other countries. But in Korea, it happened to me a lot. Like I'm kind of banned because of my looks, especially when I have long beard. Right now I don't have it, but when I have it, it's like, they always ask me like, "Hey, this is a gay club. Do you know where you're going in?" And it's like,
Yeah, I think there's also a difference between like living as a sexual minority here in Korea as a Korean and a foreigner.
Definitely.
Yeah, so can you explain a little bit more about that?
I think it's harder for Korean people, obviously.
Yeah, it's hard.
And the binary issue is more, prominent here.
Yeah. Even in the LGBT community, we really like to you're a lesbian, you're a girl, so you hang out over there. We're gay, so you hang out over there. There's I think only like 3 places actually welcoming everyone.
I think too with the gender in Korean community, my friend is like gender queer, so they present more feminine sometimes, more manly sometimes. But dating within Korean gay men, it's hard to explain to them that they were born male, but they are not just a man. They are like gender queer, but they like men. So Korean men can be like, well, that's not and I don't want to deal with like gender queer things. So they are just...
They don't even want to talk with me.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
If you don't fit, even for gay people, if you don't fit in the mold that Korea made for you, then you are outsider anyway. They will push you away, even though they should be embracing everyone in the community.
Yeah,
because we are
inclusive.
stronger as one.
Yeah.
Not like gay, lesbian,
this,
trans, whatever.
yeah.
We should all be together.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a divide there.
I don't like it.
Nobody likes it.
Hey, I don't like it, everyone.
Let's be one happy family, please.
Yeah.
that's why in the LGBTQ parade, it's so big because everybody's there having a party, you know. So I would like to see that more often.
So since you mentioned Pride Month, June is the international...
June is international and the Pride Parade in Korea is July 1st.
July 1st.
Moved to Uljiro this year.
Oh, yeah, it moved to Uljiro. So can you...
They move it.
Yes.
Oh, you didn't know?
didn't know.
This was a big news.
Yeah, it's always been at the Seoul.
thought it was at
This was all around the news.
It was supposed to be Seoul Plaza. It's always been there. The mayor or the Seoul committee, the city, decided to not give the permit.
So tell me more about that issue.
Well, it's actually not the first time. We moved the date last year to August, and then there was a similar thing happened every year, but it became a big thing this year, which is glad it made.
Do you think that was intentional?
Of course, intentional. It's the Seoul mayor is hardcore Christian conservative. He publicly
Oh yeah, for sure.
said, "I don't support homosexuals."
Yes.
Publicly say that. It was on the news. I was like, "Oh my god, this is 2023. Chill."
And in Daegu last week there was the
Oh yeah.
they didn't want the queer movies to be shown, so there was protest as well.
Oh, really?
They were the Pride last week, but then the mayor of Daegu, he hired 15 workers to protest 115.
Oh, wow.
That's excessive. Do you need that? Seriously?
Last year there was we were at the Seoul Plaza, and then on the street right next to us was hundreds of Christian people with their loudspeakers and it was crazy.
It was louder than the
It
parade.
was louder than our
And I was
music.
like,
We
what
just
the-
heard the Christians crazy, and they allowed that. The Seoul city let them do that, but then they just don't let us use it this year. It's just crazy.
So you feel that it's influenced by the mayor of Seoul?
Of course.
It's like they have too much power in this country.
I respect religion, so if they want to be religious, they can be. It's their personal choice, but it shouldn't be into politics, I think. So if their beliefs are not our beliefs, so why are you trying to
Forcing
forcing Christian beliefs on people that are not Christian, and even LGBT Christian people, they still exist. So it's crazy that they just so openly decided to say no to gay people.
Last year, I remember my friend, she went there to support me and the community, and she got out of the wrong subway station.
Oh,
you know,
no.
So she had to go that way, and
Oh my God.
some grandma hit her. Yeah, because how she was wearing, she hit her in her leg, and she was bleeding. Yes.
Oh.
And the police was there, and it was like, okay.
And the police did nothing?
What can they do? They are too many, and they are crazy. I'm sorry.
That is crowd violence.
It's very violent.
I've been going to queer parades in my country since I was like 16, 17, so there is always a group that will like protest. In my country, the religion is not very big, so it's like 10 people standing with their little cross and whatever. So it's usually more police people around them than there is the actual people that protest. But I feel like when I see the news from other countries, it can be very like violent. So it can be very scary in different places.
In Korea, outside of Pride, I don't think there's violence towards us. Because at Pride, we just publicly saying that we are gay. That's why they're like, no. Like as I said, if you don't speak about it, you're okay. You can do whatever you want.
In my country, before, like I remember it was 2007 or 2010, I don't remember. It was, there's always something you are fighting for in the parades. There's like, you know, so this year the topic was to legalize same-sex marriage. And there was also the Christians there, and we were too many, and the police was trying to keep them away, but they were insulting us and everything, so people started to get mad at them, and everybody went to buy fruits and eggs, and they started to throw to them, and they had to be removed of the place because of their safety. Everybody was so mad, and after that was I think the last year I've seen them there. After that, in the other parades, they were never there anymore. Maybe because the I don't know, the government is not allowing them to be there anymore.
So when the news came out that the Pride event wasn't going to be held on Seoul Plaza, what was the reaction from the LGBT community?
Horrible.
How did they react?
I mean, it was sad.
It was sad, but
mostly.
glad that's still happening.
Yeah, I'm glad that that the team of the Seoul Queer Festival managed to find another place. But the day the news came out, with my friends personally, I just saw a lot of just sadness and frustration. Because in Korea, there's no other day. Like in other countries, the whole month of June, you see pride flags everywhere. There's like so many different places you can go and celebrate. And in Korea, it's the one day. Like, of course, there is smaller events, but it's not public very much. So in Korea, it's really just the one day. And they want to take that from us. Like, it's like, why? Just let us celebrate for one day. We are not hurting anyone. We just want to go and have fun and show other, like, even maybe young Korean people that there is people like you can find community if you look for it. And they are just so against that. It's just crazy. It was just sad.
Well, speaking of Christian, I got something that I can explain, like, why these Christian things happening. Because, like, I don't want to give any false information, so I actually, like, wrote it down. So, like, I'm just gonna read it. So, the Korea's public homophobia is actually influenced by Christian conservatives. The current South Korean Protestant church's pro-US identity actually comes from its deep ties with conservative white Christian values of homophobia. And this is the result of the U.S. military occupation between 1945 and 1948. And during the time, American missionaries brought this religion to Korea, acting almost as a diplomatic wing of the U.S. government by providing education and protection. And this systemic thing is still really deep down in our society. And then these people hold lots of power in our country. So the politicians cannot ignore them. Like if they want to vote, you have to act like you are one of them.
So since you brought up politicians, let's talk about like legal issues, like legislation. So right now, same-sex marriage is not legal in South Korea. Do you think there is progress there? Like, are people working towards it? Like lawmakers?
I mean, if they were, this wouldn't be a question, you know?
Like, I don't want to be a pessimist, but I don't feel much progress coming.
I kind of sense that they're trying, like some of them trying. Like there's Cheongidang, it's really pushing it.
There was with the domestic partners and the health insurance. So there was a nice step in the right direction. I think maybe the first step would be some kind of discrimination law that Korea doesn't have, because then it would make a lot of things not legal. But since there is none, they can do anything basically.
Yeah, we have no non-discrimination laws, right? Placed for LGBTQ.
For any people.
For any people, yeah.
Even foreigners.
Yeah, foreigners too.
How is it different in your country?
In my country, we have like an entity from the government that it's in charge of discrimination happening in the society. It doesn't happen. It's all about all kind of discrimination. So you are not allowed to do it, especially if you work in a bar, restaurant, or any company. Discrimination cannot happen. So we have many laws about that, and if you experience some discrimination or your friends, you can call and you can report them. So usually they are getting a fine and they have to go to training. All the company has to go to training about it depends, like racism or homophobia, whatever the matter is. They have to train, and sometimes they even have to like do some community service. Yeah.
Is same-sex legal in Argentina?
Yes. So
Wow.
So I feel like very protected in that way, you know. Yeah. Like even in companies, like even because you are gay or queer, they cannot fire you because of that. After the same-sex marriage, like the society started to change also, you know, and because they know that they cannot speak bad about being homosexual or queer or like different, and they are very careful with their words, and the mindset started to change. But it was like after that it was very huge, the change, you know, like people started to really think about it. So I hope it happens here soon.
Hopefully.
How about your country?
We don't have same-sex marriage. We have like a common union thing. We still have rights. It's not the same, and we are still fighting for it as well. But it's something. We still have some rights. There is also no discrimination. We have discrimination laws. So you also cannot be fired and all of that.
I feel that in Korea, making a law about like discrimination is actually infringing the private area of people interacting. So I think it would take a bit more time to make progress in that area. So what would anti-discrimination law mean for the LGBTQ community here in Korea? What would that mean?
I think being more open. Like he mentioned that with like in companies and stuff.
In companies, so you don't need to hide anymore.
Otherwise you'll get fired.
I'm not afraid anymore of losing your job or your life. Yeah.
So how is that different from like 4 years ago?
Oh, there's one really big difference. There's YouTube. There's a lot of gays and lots of queer trans people on YouTube, and they're quite famous. And I think it's a good thing because, you know, these elderly, they still watch television. But like younger people who watch television these days, like everyone watches YouTube, right? Like Netflix, and there's a gay people. They're representing them, and they're representing them as like this happy individual rather than like this sad, miserable.
Just a normal thing.
Yeah, like in television, I saw television like a few days ago. They're still like presenting us as this like problematic group of people in this country. But like on YouTube or Netflix, people are starting presenting us this like fun-loving individual just living this world, this country, normal life. I think it's a really good sign, and younger people are gonna see that, and they're gonna have these positive memories about us, and that will affect to something in the future.
Last year there was the gay dating show, I think first one in Korea.
there is.
So it's nice so people can watch it and see that it's just normal people dating other normal people. There's nothing like crazy happening.
It was sensational because there are a lot of gay dating shows in
The world, yeah.
in the world, but not
It was the
here
first
in
one.
Korea. Yeah, also in YouTube, as you mentioned, there are a lot of really popular, gay people, and they are hilarious. They're so funny. They're so funny. Like I can name a few. Like I love Pungja. Yeah, she's my favorite. And there's this YouTuber called Lala.
Oh, Nana.
Yeah, Lala. Like she kind of shows the drag kind of. Yeah, so I think that's a very big movement. Yeah. Okay, and let's talk about dating. Dating. This was something I was most curious about. Like, where do you meet these people?
Oh my God.
So where do you meet these people?
Like international apps like Tinder and Bumble and stuff, you can put your preference. That's where a lot of people meet other queer people, or just in queer spaces like bars.
Like dating apps really huge right now, so I think that people don't want to meet other people at a club organically, which is like
That's a thing in the past.
that's the thing in the past. I was there. I lived in this weird time frame because like when I went out first time, there's no dating apps, but then suddenly there's a Grindr. But I still don't like it. I don't like it
too. Yeah.
It's very sex
Yeah, I think it's more like to have a hookup. Well, I know about a website, but it's mostly for Koreans, and you need like your registration card, your resident card, to log in. You can meet there.
Yeah,
and
in a
they
bar, I
meet-
think it's like the easiest way.
Yeah, but they do like these meetings for where they go to a pocha, and they talk each other, and there are
Like
many people like they don't know each other, but they go
like
there.
blind dates,
yeah.
kind of.
But
With a lot of people.
there were like maybe 10. I went once. That's why I'm telling. But it was tough because they cannot speak English. So I had to use all my Korean. It was very stressing. Yeah, but
So most of these clubs are in Itaewon area.
there are many areas.
Hongdae, there is some as well.
Yes.
Haebangchon has one
Haebangchon.
or two.
Yeah. Then you have Jongno Samga.
Oh yeah.
Then you have Shilin.
Celine.
Wow, you know a lot of these places.
Yeah. Usually in Jongno Samga and Shilin, it's like
Bars.
It's like pocha.
Yeah.
it's
Like
like
sitting and then
Sitting
Itaewon and
eating
Hongdae is
and
like dancing
drinking.
stuff.
Yeah, and Itaewon is more like dancing. Yeah.
So, like these places are for gay people, not straight people, right?
Mostly.
Yeah.
They can come, but
Like, how do you know these places? How do you?
I because of the COVID, during COVID, Itaewon was empty. It was ghost town because there was a cluster in Itaewon and nobody comes there anymore. And that's how, with my friends, we say, okay, where should we go? And because actually during COVID also there were not many foreigners, as nowadays they are coming back, But back then it was like, okay, if you want to hang out, you have to go to these areas, So we went to Jongno Samga. You can go to any pocha there, and you can tell who is gay. But actually there are a lot of straights there also, But yeah, sometimes you sit next to somebody and you start talking. But it's difficult as a foreigner, actually,
Why do you think it's difficult as a foreigner to date here in Korea?
I think
It's
because
a
we are different.
culture,
Uh,
very
we
different
look
culture.
different. We have different culture. We behave differently. So I think they want to, and also there's the language barrier sometimes, you know. So I think it's more comfortable for them to date other Koreans or somebody that can speak Korean. Once I was in this place in Shinin, and my friends came. My friend, he's been living here for a long time, so he can speak perfect Korean. And then there was this guy. He was very into me. And I was there, I was still in the place eating and drinking, and I opened the application. There's an application, and I see this guy, you know, in the application because he was next to me, was sitting next to me, and it says, no foreigners. Oh. And he was trying to, you know, to get to me, and
Don't say no. On the no, like seriously.
so I see that, and I wanted to move near my friend, so I wanted to go out of next to them. So I was trying to get away, and he's like, why are you going? Stay here. He hold my hand. I'm like, okay, but look at this. And I show him his profile, and he's like, why are you saying that? And he's like, oh no, it's not because you are a foreigner, it's because the language barrier, you know, like he doesn't feel comfortable, like because he cannot speak English. So we're like, okay, you know, I understand, but don't put no foreigners, because when I see that, it's like I feel like so bad, you know. I feel like kind of discrimination. It's
Right. It is.
Kinda.
yeah, some Koreans say, oh, that's a preference, you know, and that's okay, but the line between preference and discrimination is very
Yeah, preference and no is different.
You
No
don't need to
foreigners.
say no. You can't just
Right.
–
ignore it.
And what about your dating?
Yeah,
I wonder about yours.
Is there an app for lesbians too?
If there is, I don't know about it. I don't know. I met someone through either a friend, a mutual friend, or at a bar, or on an app like Tinder or Bumble.
Do you feel that dating in Korea is much more difficult than dating in your country?
Yeah. I mean, in my country, I had such a huge lesbian community. Like most of the people I knew were lesbian, so it was always like everyone knows everyone, so the dating pool is quite big. But here, I don't have that many lesbian friends. I mostly have gay men friends or trans people friends, like transgender or gender neutral or whatever. But like lesbian, I don't know that many.
Yeah, in my country, you don't need to go to a queer bar to meet people. You can just
Yeah,
go
same.
to a regular bar and
Just any bar.
Do you think lesbians and gays are equally recognized here in Korea?
No. I feel like a lot of Koreans think that there's only gay men.
Yeah. I also feel that, you know, like lesbians here are more, you know, like hiding to themselves that they're lesbian, especially Korean lesbians. I have never seen a Korean lesbian who just came out like openly that we are lesbian. But actually, I see a lot of gay people holding hands these days in the streets. So I wonder if there's a difference.
I think they understand that there is an attraction to men. So even if it's a man, they can like kind of understand. But if it's like, how can there be two women? Like, where's the guy? There always has to be a guy in the relationship, so something's missing. But it's actually not.
So thank you for sharing this. It was a very informative session. Do you have last comments or messages for those who are out there but still scared to come out?
It's getting better. We'll get there.
take your time.
Yeah, there's no rush. You can explore and find out what you like, what you don't like. I think it's good to find community, so you can be like, you can have maybe someone who knows more to like lead you a little bit, to show you what's in the community. But being alone is not the best way. So find someone you trust, some you can be open with. And
I also want to say, like queer youth out there, I want to say, people will continue to weaponize their beliefs and use our existence politically, even though we are human beings just like them. There's people will be hate us no matter what we do. Exactly. Because of that, we should not hate each other. We need to care for them, be there for them, and we should love each other.
Do you have any messages? for those?
No, just be yourself. You know, like your difference are your biggest assets sometimes. So don't be ashamed of being yourself. You know, and yeah, take your time, explore. You are always learning in life. You know, so you don't have to learn everything right away. You know, there's time and everybody has different experiences. So nobody can tell you how to feel or what to do. So yeah, just be yourself. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for joining our episode on on the life as a member of the LGBT community in Korea. I know it's tough. I hope the Korean society evolves in a more positive way so that it could be more accepting to people they find different from other people. Like,
Yeah, find the beauty in the diverse. That's what I
Yeah.
want to say.
and don't forget July 1st.
July 1st.
July
Oh,
1st.
Chiro, see you there.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun today.